Dun, 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 dun. Yay! Woo! So I don't it looked like for some reason it lost my microphone. It was syncing up to another microphone. So we should be good to go now. Um, yeah. So remember. Um, so there should be on Twitch a chat over here, like on the Twitch page. Ignore that chat. I have to ignore that chat for like student privacy reasons. So if you want to interact with me, I'll put all of your messages in Discord, okay? And if you're answering a question that I ask, just type it out. Just type it out. Leave a use @professor if you have a question for me, okay? That way I'll know that the notifications are questions and the regular posts are answers, okay? So, let's do this. All right. Somebody's asking if you need to follow me. You can follow the Twitch channel if you want. Like if you have a Twitch account, you don't have to, because I'll always announce on Discord when we go live. So you should be able to know, and it's going to be every Tuesday and Thursday. So yeah, okay, all right. So what I like to start off with is I like to answer the question, why should we learn about astronomy? Okay, why should we learn about astronomy? And to answer that question, we're going to talk about a lot of things, okay? The first thing I like to talk about is, let's talk about the past, okay? And to do that, I'm going to use the document cam that I got from the school to draw a timeline. So hopefully this works. Now, as you guys will see, this document cam will freeze up over and over and over again because the technology from the school is terrible. I bought everything. I bought literally $1,000 worth of equipment to stream right now. But I did not buy this document cam, and it's the one thing that keeps punking out on me every single time. So every once in a while, we're going to have to restart the document cam. So sorry about that. Okay, so why learn astronomy? All right. So let's build up a timeline, okay? Let's build up a timeline. And on this timeline, let's make this X. Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. Let's make this X today, okay? Today. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. This pen is trash. Let me get another one. Oh, gotta do. Someone is asking if this is the first year I've done this. Yes. The only reason I am online is because of the COVID situation. Hopefully it doesn't show too much. So, yeah, we'll check this out. Okay, so here we go. That's today. Let's say you want to know about the past, okay? You want to know everything that's ever happened in history, okay? In order to do that, you're going to have to ask a lot of experts, okay? You're going to have to ask a lot of experts to help you out with that information. And don't overthink this. Let's say you wanted to learn about history, okay? You wanted to learn about the time before today, okay? What would be the first group of people you would ask to learn about history? Don't overthink this. What group of people would you probably ask if you were going to learn about history? There's a hint. It's kind of in the word. Good job. It would be a historian, right? It'd be historians. So historians are a group of experts who study history, and they're going to be able to tell you a lot about the past. But what a lot of people don't know is that historians don't actually really study everything about the past. They actually only study written history. Oh, and we have our first freeze. Here we go. Restart. There we go. They only actually study written history. So that means they're not going to be able to tell you about the entire past, okay? They're actually only going to be able to go really tell you, they focus on everything that has been written by people. So let's represent what they can tell you about the past by going back to the first writing. Here we go. And I'm going to represent that on this timeline. Okay. That's supposed to be a book. That's supposed to be a book, like it's open like that. And that's like the pages up. I'm not a very good artist. This is the best I can do. Roll with it, okay? That's the very first writing right there. Okay. So, like I said, this is not all of history that they're studying. So how much time are historians really studying if they're studying the first, all the way back to the first writing? Do any of you guys know how long human beings have been writing? How many? Give me a guess. Give me a guess. How long have people been writing things? How long has writing been a thing? No, it's not. It's been more than 10 years, right? Oh, and never be afraid of giving me a wrong answer. I just appreciate the guesses. Does that make sense? Ooh, somebody got it like right around when it is. So it turns out that human beings have not been writing the entire time that there have been human beings. We've actually only been writing about 4,500 or 5,000 years. It's only been a few thousand years that we've invented writing, at least that we know of, right? So let's say that was roughly 5,000 years back, okay? So that's 5,000 years ago, okay? And lots of people were kind of independently inventing writing in a few different places. I don't really know the full history of it. I'm not a historian, right? But here is the big brain question. Here's the big brain question. If we've been writing for roughly 5,000 years, are historians going to be able to tell you about all of the past? Is that everything that's ever happened right there? Yes or no? Clearly no, right? Clearly no. It's definitely not everything that's ever happened. So that means if you want to know about the past, you can't just ask historians, okay? You can't just ask historians. You're going to have to involve some other experts into the picture, right? So let's say you wanted to know about what human beings were doing all the way back until the very first human being ever. So here we go. If we go all the way back to the very first human being, there we go. Okay, for some reason, I don't know, whatever, his leg's not attached. Okay, he's doing like a knee uppercut kind of thing. I don't know, whatever. But if you're going to look at the history of humans before we wrote stuff, we weren't writing down what was happening. And so that means you're going to have to ask, a type of scientist who studies people to know what people were doing before we could ever write things down. So do any of you guys know what kind of scientist studies human beings specifically? So if you wanted to know what we've been doing this whole time, who studies people? What's that science? There we go. Anthropologists. Anthropologists. Definitely. So anthro means people, human beings, right? And so anthropologists are the group of people that study human beings. So if you wanted to have a more complete history of mankind, you're not going to just ask historians, you're also going to ask anthropologists. More information, more complete picture. Now, here's the next question. Do any of you guys know roughly how long human beings have been around, according to anthropologists? How long have we been here? Give or take. And again, guesses are okay. Guesses are okay. So it's not actually in the millions. It's not actually that long. I mean, life has been here for a long time. But yeah, so give or take, it's in the hundreds of thousands. It's in the hundreds of thousands. So I think the most recent estimate that I saw was roughly around 200,000, and we're just rounding here, so these aren't exact numbers or anything. So this is 200,000 years ago. So that means we just got a much bigger portion of the past added to our knowledge by asking more types of experts, right? Oh, yeah, and so somebody's asking if I mean Homo sapiens specifically. For that, ask an anthropologist. I'm not an expert on exactly what anthropologists mean for that number, but something at least human-ish has been around for around that long. Let's put it that way. Now, here we go. Is this everything that ever happened? Is this 200,000 years? Is that all of the past? Clearly not. Clearly not, right? That's definitely not the past. Same thing as we just answered a second ago. So that means if you're just asking the historians and the anthropologists, you're still not getting a complete picture of the past. So let's say we wanted to go back, all the way back, much, much further, all the way back to we want to study the history of all life on the planet. So all the way back to the very first, microscopic, I don't know how to draw the very first life form. We haven't, I'm just going to draw this little blob right here. It's probably some little microscopic little blobby thing. There we go. Now, that means you're studying stuff from before human beings, right? This is before human beings. Now you're studying all of life. So we're going to have to bring in another type of scientist. And you guys know what kind of scientist just studies life in general? Who studies just life? What's the scientist that studies life? Yeah, biologists. Biologists. A lot of you have probably already taken a biology class. I haven't taken a biology class in a very, very, very long time, so maybe you know more about this than I do. But bio means life, so biologists are people who study life. Now this one, let's see if we can get this one. Do you guys know how long biologists tell us life has been on the planet? Oh, and of course, other types of scientists would come in here, like archaeologists and things like that. They would also be helping out. Yeah, here we're definitely in the millions of years now, right? We're in the millions. Actually, millions is not enough. Millions is not enough. Billions. Yes, we're now at billions of years, okay? Billions of years. Roughly, give or take, 4 billion years ago, okay? 4 billion years ago. That's a lot of millions, right? That's 4,000 million years ago, right? So we just added a big old chunk to the history of the past that we were studying, right? So now we have an even more complete history of everything that's ever happened, right? Here in this place. Now, here's the thing. Okay, check this out. Before we move on, is this timeline that I'm drawing here to scale? And don't worry if you don't know what that means, but for those of you who do know what that means, is this timeline to scale? No, it's not, right? It's not. Now, what do I mean by to scale? What I mean is when something is to scale, let's say we had one thing that lasted 1 year and another thing that lasted 10 years. Well, the thing that lasted 10 years would be 10 times as long in the picture, because if 1 year is this long, 10 years would be, So if we were to make this to scale, where this X was today and this was 4 billion right here, where would we put the people in the books right here? Where would these be on this timeline? Yeah. They're definitely shouldn't be in the middle. They're very, very close to today. 4 billion is so much bigger than 200,000 that 200,000 is like almost no time. So in the grand scheme of things here, human beings and everything we've written is basically just a blip next to today. So by asking more and more experts, we're getting way, way, way more than the entirety of human existence, right? So here's the next question. Are we done? Is this all of the past? Kind of a repetitive question. And surprise, it's going to have a repetitive answer. No, this is not all of the past. This is not everything that's ever happened. It's not even everything that's happened right here, right? So let's say you wanted to go back even further. If you want to go back even further, you're probably going to be studying the Earth itself, okay? So let's go back a little bit more. Back to when the Earth first formed. Here's the Earth. Here's that's Florida. South America, Cuba, whatever. That's the Earth. Okay. Now it just looks like a bunch of mushrooms. This looks like a pizza. What can you do? And somebody's already given me a number for this. This is, give or take, and I'm gonna round this a little bit. Give or take, the Earth has been here for 4.5 billion years. Okay, 4.5 billion years. Yeah, does kind of look like a fist bump, like Florida's fist bumping South America. Yeah, so give or take 4.5 billion years. And that seems like we didn't add that much to the timeline because it's only 0.5 billion years. But remember, 0.5 billion years, that's 500 million years, okay? That's 500 million years. So we did add a lot to that. Now, here's the next question. Who would you ask if you wanted to study the Earth and the formation of the Earth and everything and what the Earth's been doing this whole time? What group of scientists studies the Earth specifically? There we go. Geologists. And again, that's because geo means Earth. So geologists, they study the Earth and everything that it's made out of. They study rocks. The Earth's made of rocks, right? And metal and all kinds of stuff like that. So that's another group of people. You want to have a complete history of the past, you have to keep bringing in more and more and more experts, right? So here's the thing, though. I'm not even going to ask. Clearly, this is not all of the past, right? That's not everything that's ever happened. This is not even everything that's ever happened in this room I'm sitting in, right? We could go back further. But, here we go, but, before the Earth was here, there was no Earth. Man. Whoa. So here's my question. Before the Earth was here, right? Before there was an Earth in this spot, what was here? What was here, man? What was here before the Earth was here? Yeah, it depends on how far back you're thinking, right? It does depend on how far you're backing. It was empty space. It was space. It wasn't really empty. There was stuff floating around in it, matter and gas and energy and dust and pellets of rock and things. But it was space and stuff in space, right? And that means if you want to go back even further than 4.5 billion years, who's going to be the only kind of scientist who's going to be studying the stuff before this. Who we bringing in at that point? Who studies space and everything in it? Me specifically? Yeah, astronomy. Now, technically, the word astronomy is actually hundreds of years out of date. Because you guys know what astro means? Anybody know what astro means? What's astro? Because I said geo is the study of the earth, because geo means earth, and biology is the study of life, because bio means life. So what's astro mean? Astro. Here we go. Looks like some people are about to give me an answer. Technically, astro just means stars. Astro is Latin for star. Okay? So that term would kind of make it seem like astronomers just study stars, and a long time ago, maybe astronomers studied the stars alone. But now we know there's so much stuff out there in space, and astronomers study all of it. It might be better to change our name to spaceologists or something, or universologists, or cosmologists, which actually is a thing, but we'll get to that later. So, yeah, astronomy comes into the picture at this point, okay? So, here we go. We're going to be able to tell you about more of the past. We can go back further than any of the groups that we've been talking about so far. There is a limit for astronomy. Do any of you guys know what the limit is? What's the farthest back an astronomer can tell you back to? What event? What's the earliest thing we can talk about for us? Yeah, there we go. We're getting it. Oh, document cam froze. Come on, doc cam. Don't fail me. Yeah, we can go all the way back to the Big Bang, right? All the way back to the Big Bang, okay? Oops, one of my chats is frozen. There we go. So the Big Bang. I don't really know how to draw the Big Bang, so I'm running out of page here too, so let's just put a little bang right here. There we go, that's the Big Bang. Now, here we go. The Big Bang is the earliest event that astronomers can tell you about. And here we go. Does anybody know, and I don't really expect anybody to know this, but every once in a while somebody knows. Does anybody know how long ago the Big Bang was? How long ago was the Big Bang? Yeah, so somebody says it keeps changing. We're narrowing down as we learn more about the Big Bang. We narrow it down exactly when we think it happened, and at this point, we're thinking it happened roughly 13.8 billion years ago, which is just under 14 billion years. And yeah, maybe it happened 13.7 or 13.9, but we know it's roughly in that range, right? And as our best data tells us, right now we're thinking about 13.8 billion years ago. And some of you guys were really close to that, so that's pretty impressive. So good job, guys. Now, check this out. So how much time did we add to this? We just added close to 10 billion years to this timeline. That means if this timeline we drew was to scale, then this part right here would be over half of the past. And astronomers are the ones that are studying this part of the past. So that means if you don't learn about astronomy, you know less than half of everything that's ever happened in the universe, okay? So that's crazy. So luckily you guys are taking this class and we'll get to learn about some of that stuff.